So the Federal Reserve has hiked rates by another 0.25%, which is pretty much the 8th rate hike they have started since last year, March, right? So yeah, pretty much putting the Fed fund rate at about 4.5%. Alright, so we have seen weakness in many of those tech stocks, especially in the US as well, a little bit in the Singapore market since 1 year back. When I talk about rate hikes, about inflation, but that has really been priced in. We've seen prices coming down, and in fact, over the past 1 to 2 months, there were already some strength coming back in some of those technology stocks, right? So what is the outlook? Basically, what are some of the top Singapore stocks that you can put in your watch list for potentially a reversal back up to the previous high that you've seen over the past 2 years? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier reminder trader in Phillip Securities, and in this video, we're focusing on the Singapore tech sector, and I'm going through with you the 6 most popular Singapore tech stocks that I get asked quite often on. And let me just go ahead to show you these stocks right here. The first one will be like AEM, all right, AEM, one of those heavyweight tech stock. Frencken, second one, UMS, IFAST, right? IFAST, one of those really popular fintech firm as well, IFAST. ISDN, and finally we have Venture. Alright, so this is pretty much the 6 popular stocks that I get asked quite a lot in the Singapore tech sector. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end if you want to know the outlook for these 6 stocks. Some of them have already rebounded, some of them are slowly, alright, starting to stage a little bit of a rebound, but there could be more upside as well for this year 2023. Alright, so watch this video all the way to the end. I'm sure you find it useful. So with inflation kind of like peaking and slowly tapering, right, we have seen strength in the tech stocks, right? But not all stocks are kind of like rebounding fast. Some of them are still pretty much in a bit of a downtrend. Some are still consolidating. So let's move on to the first stock right here, which would be AEM, right? Trading at about 3.54 right now. So you can see that for AEM, we have been pretty much in a downtrend, I would say, since like July, June last year. Based on the longer term moving average, you can see that this red line, the 100 days moving average, is kind of like below the blue line. So right now you can see this red and blue line, they are both still pointing down. So the mid to long term trend for AEM unfortunately is still down for now, especially below this resistance level that I've drawn, and that would be the $3.60. You can see 360 is the resistance level whereby we have consolidated below for like about a month plus. We are still below it, and hopefully we can attempt to break this level. We can break this level, good thing, then we might see a bit of a reversal all the way back to that $3.90 to $4. I think that could be a short-term upside right there towards the $3.90 to $4, which is pretty much the resistance level we have seen somewhere in December last year. And of course, this $3.90, I talked about it in my other videos as well. $3.90 was a pretty strong support right here. You can see over the past 1-2 years, right, very, very strong support. We kind of broke down right here, and obviously now this support has turned to a resistance level whereby we can potentially hit to before some selling comes back. Right, so for AEM, I think that the short term, right, in the short term, we did see some strength, right, because look at this green line. You can see this green line is starting to flatten out. So it's like pointing down, because you can see when we broke this like 360 support level somewhere around like December, we started to trade lower, rebounded, trade lower, right, and we saw a bit of strength, right, and this green line, right, the 20 days moving average started to flatten. Okay, see, it's like moving down, 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 and over the past 1 week it is flattening out. So there's a sign of strength. There's a sign of a bit of a not so weak. I mean, in terms of the weakness slowing down, there could be some signs of it moving up, especially as I say, breaking the 360. I think this green line will start to point up, and then we might hopefully start to push higher all the way up to maybe about $3.90, and then this could be kind of like the next higher consolidation phase. Alright, so that would be AEM, right, in short term. For longer term, as I say, we want to wait for more confirmation, because this blue and red line, they are both still pointing down, and we're still below that $3.90 to $4 for now, which would be slightly a bit more bearish in the mid to long term. Okay, so this is Frencken right here, trading at about 1.18, right? So we have seen quite a good recovery over the past 1 month. You can see that we were pretty much consolidating right here below the $1 psychological level. You can see right here, down, up, tested, came down. Eventually, we broke the $1 and started to see a bit of upside over the past 1-2 weeks towards the 120 level. All right, so the short term actually looks quite good. We have rebounded to the resistance at 120, and some selling is actually coming back right now. I think that this 120 level is quite key. In fact, we have been holding below it since like August. A couple of touches, we came down. Same thing here, we touched somewhere in November, we came down, and just yesterday you can see that we actually attempted to break or even go above that 120, but sellers push it back down below 120. So this 120 resistance would be key for now, right? For more upside to happen. What do you call it? Break that 120 or maybe even break that 130. Look at this, 130 would be the next level to watch. So I think 120 to 130, I think these are all pretty key resistance levels that you want to watch for any firm uptrend reversal to take shape. So let me just draw it for you right here from 120 to 130, and the key would be from 130. All right, 130 I think would be a much firmer level to really see the reversal happen, because this was the high since August last year. We've been trading below since May last year, so it's only like about a 10 months high. If we break that 10 months high, that could be a really good sign of more strength. And if that happens, you can see that the moving averages in terms of the red and blue line, they will both start to point up as well. We might see a reversal in the mid to long term trend. All right, so that level is key. The 120 and even the 130 level, that's where we are seeing selling right now. So short term, you can see that the 20 days moving average, right? Look at this green line. You can see this green line has also crossed back above the red line, the 100 days moving average. That's the reason why we are seeing strength at the short term. So I think not too bad. Hopefully we consolidate above 110 for now and attempt to break 130, 120. If that happens, good thing. It might be the start of a good reversal for this year, for 2023. Okay, so next stock would be UMS, also one of those popular Singapore tech stocks, trading at about $1.33 right here. So for UMS, you can see that we have staged quite an incredible rebound from like 90 cents to $1. You can see when we broke that $1 psychological level, that was where we saw a pretty good move up to 120, 130 and started to consolidate. All right, and we have found what we call a higher support level at about the $1.15. It seems like 115, 120. Let me just draw it for you. You can see right here, managed to stage a bit of a rebound from here somewhere in December, rebounded, and right over here you can see it was a bit of a resistance level. Of course, we broke down here, we sold off. So 115, 120, I think that would be like the near-term support level. If you can hold above this level, I think it's good. All right, that's where we can potentially see the reversal for this stock in 2023. All right, and looking at the moving averages in the mid to long term, so look at the 100 days moving average. So we were a bit of a downtrend since like April, March last year, when talk about rate hikes and inflation. You can see that this rate line actually crossed down below the blue line, so a bit of a downtrend. In fact, we kind of like traded lower, went lower. All right, so based on this, right, based on this rate below the blue, so 100 days moving average below the 200 days moving average. And look at it right now, you can see that these two lines, right, the red and the blue lines, right, the red and the blue lines, 100 days and 200 days, they are pretty much moving sideways, right? Sideways. They're not really pointing up, not really pointing down, but they're a little bit sideways, maybe a little bit up as well. You can see a bit sloping upwards, red slightly above the blue. So it looks quite good, right? At least there are some signs of the mid to long term trend turning up already. I mean, compared to like Frencken, which has yet to do so. Right now for this, there are already some signs of the trend turning up. So that could be a good thing. But what is the key level? What is the key level whereby selling can happen? That resistance level you want to take note of, I think that would be this level right here. Anything from 135 to 140, right? So look at this, 140 was that support, right, in December 2021, beginning of 2022. That was before all the talks about inflation and rate hikes. But you can see when we broke that 140, the selling actually started and went all the way down. And now this 140, as we approach levels like here, right, anything from 135 to 140, I think that's where selling can actually come back again, because that support that we've seen more than a year back would now turn to be what we call that resistance level. So if I can draw it for you right here, that would be what we call that sell zone. So we are kind of like approach there, selling might happen, but you want to take note of this 140 if, right, if we can break this 140 level, great, right? If you can break the 140, I think that would be a good sign of buyers, right, prepared to take this even higher. I think the uptrend can really start to form up if that happens all the way back to 155, pretty much the high that we have seen somewhere in 2021, all right, over here by a couple of touches and we sold off. All right, so this is UMS trading at about 1.33. Okay guys, so we have covered pretty much 3 of the most popular Singapore tech stocks: AEM, Frencken, and UMS. So guys, if you like this video, you found some value so far, I would appreciate if you can give me an early thumbs up, alright, and smash the subscribe button as well, hit the like button. That will really help out the channel, and thank you so much for doing this. Alright, so let's move on to the other 3 popular Singapore tech stocks, and let's move on to the next one, which will be IFAST, and then we talk about ISDN, and then finally Venture. Let's talk about IFAST right now. Okay, so this is IFAST trading at about $5.30 right now. So since the beginning of 2022, so I covered this stock a few times, since like 2022, we have been pretty much in a downtrend. Look at this, the red line 100 days moving average below the blue line 200 days moving average, and price have started to go down. All right, rebounded, trade lower, all the way down until we found a bit of a support coming in about $3.50, somewhere around October, right? October, we start to see a good rebound when there were signs of the Fed kind of like, cooling down the rate hikes and slowing down the pace of rate hikes. That's when many of those tech stocks rebounded, all right? And started to rebound as well. And the key here was that we broke this key level, the $5 level, right? So I talk about this $5 psychological level. You can see we were pretty much below it since like April last year. A couple of touches, $5 came down, and somewhere around November we broke above the $5, went up all the way to somewhere around like 620, 615, consolidated. We broke a support and we are back down, right? So what would be the outlook for IFAST? I would say that there are indeed some signs of the longer term, the mid to long term trend actually turning up, right, above the $5, right? Why, right? Look at this, right? This 100 days moving average line. Look at this right here, as I mentioned, right? This red line was below the blue line, but over the past 1-2 months, you can see this red line, 100 days moving average, has finally managed to cross back above the blue line, right? So that's a sign of trend change, right? From a down to a bit of sideways to potentially moving up right now. But the key here is this, right? Even though we have seen this, we still need to stay above some of those key support levels still, right? And what would be the level? Well, the level would be none other than the $5. So $5, as I say, was a critical psychological resistance level. Now you can see it actually trading back down and nearing it and kind of like pushing away from this $5, right? So over the past like 2 weeks, you can see kind of like nearly, I think the low was about 503, all right, and buyers came back and started to push away from it. So that's a sign of strength, right? So in the short term, I think we might just be consolidating in this range from $5 all the way to about 540. Look at this, up, down. But as long as we hold above this $5 level, that's key, right? If we were to break the $5, then unfortunately not so good. That's where more selling can actually happen all the way back to like the 450 or 460 level. But let's assume that we stay above the $5 by consolidate here. And look at this, right? The 20 days moving average, this green line, when we saw that good rally from November all the way up, you can see this green line was pretty much moving up. Prices above it was a really good rally from 380 all the way to like $6, right? And this green line started to flatten out, and look at this, right? Started to point down. Right now, you can see this green line is obviously still pointing down. Prices below it, so not so good in the short term. As I say, we are still consolidating from $5 to 540, right? But let's assume that we break this 540, right? We break the 540, I think that could be a good thing for more upside in the short term. This green line might start to reverse back up, prices going back above the green line. That could put it at a much better state in terms of the reversal, coming back again from 540 towards the 570, a little bit of a resistance here, and after 570 would be pretty much back to that 620 to 630 level. That could become like the next upside, right? So let me just go to shift this a little bit down in terms of the next resistance level, about 620 to 630. I think that is pretty much where selling can come back again. Okay, next one will be ISDN, one of those stocks that I like as well. We staged a pretty good recovery, and one of those stocks that we have shared with clients of mine in Philip Securities. So if you're not yet a client, you're not being served by your broker, you don't really have a broker, you're just trading online on your own with an online platform, no ideas, no service, no WhatsApp, no trading, nothing, then you pretty much want to come aboard as a client of mine. So I'll pretty much place the link above or below this video. Go ahead to click on the link, find out more on how you can come aboard as a client of mine in Philip Securities to get access to some of our top trade ideas by WhatsApp much faster, right, than it takes to like prepare a video like this, right? So clients were alerted to this company ISDN about 1 month back. I think there were some alerts that were sent out, but let's take a look at it right here again. All right, so one of those stocks that I like. Okay, so you can see that we were actually consolidating right here, right, just below that 0.45 level. It was a bit of a support. We broke down somewhere in October, and we were actually trading below it. Touch, came down, but somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here in early of the year, right? In like 1st or 2nd of January, right here, we managed to finally break this 45 cents level right here. There was a pretty good bullish bar, and that was where there were some alerts that were sent out. Of course, in terms of the moving average as well, you can see that this green line, right, this green line right here has also crossed back above that 100 days moving average rate line. So that's a good sign in terms of short-term upside, all right, trend indicators pointing up, a good bullish crossover, and also with it breaking that 0.45 resistance that is traded below for like about 3 months, right? A good thing, right? A good thing. It's starting to see a bit of reversal up all the way, traded up, and we are back to some selling at about that 60 cents level, which is normal. I mean, look at this, right? 60 cents was pretty much the level we've seen somewhere in April last year, so quite a good recovery. We are back to almost where we were. Of course, the peak was higher at about 70, somewhere around 80 cents as well. That is the resistance which I've drawn, but right now I think it looks quite good, right? It looks quite good still. Look at this, the green line, the 20 days moving average is still pointing up, right? And I would say that some support has been found from about 5.5 to maybe about that 5.6 level. So let me just draw it for you. I think right over here, 5.5 to 5.6, we are seeing a little bit of support. You can see that's where the 20 days moving average line is as well. It's consolidated. So 5.5, 5.6, that's where buyers are coming back all the way to that 60 cents. 60 cents level is key, right? That is the resistance level we have touched about 3-4 times, actually attempted to break it, went up, but sellers come like push it back down. So we really want to see that firm bullish move, right, above 60 cents, right, prices staying above over the next few days. I think that could happen. If that happens, that is where potentially we could raise our targets higher all the way to maybe 65 to even that 70 cents, back to where we were somewhere in February last year. And if that happens, guys, I think this moving average, the longer term moving average, you can see that there are also some signs of it turning up, like the red line slowly pointing up, all right, blue flattening out. Eventually, if that happens, I think that red will cross up back above the blue. That will put it in what we call a good long-term uptrend as well, in an ideal uptrend for both the short-term and the long-term. Okay, let's take a look at Venture, right? One of those heavyweight tech stocks in the Singapore tech sector, all right, trading at about 18.59. So you can see that for Venture Corp, right, Venture, it has been quite volatile, right, trading in this really wide range since the beginning of 2022, right? So that was the range, about $16. You can see it started to touch this resistance level, came back down, traded up, down, swing up again. We neared this resistance, came back down. A couple of touches at this resistance as it, you know, where we are right now. And this resistance is none other than the $18.60. Look at this right here, 18.60. A couple of touches we've touched like about one time. We neared it. All right, right over here we touch it and we are back here again. So this 18.60 level, $18.60 level, will be very, very critical. I think we want to really break this resistance level for more upside to happen, because since last year, about 1 year plus, right, we have not broke this level. We have just neared it and sellers came back and pushed it all the way back down. So I think if you're looking at good profits, I mean, you've got in like near $16.50 or $16, and right now we are near that $18.60. You are pretty much sitting on a pretty good profit all the way up by more than like 10-12%. You can also lock in some partial profits, that's fine, because that's where selling can actually come back again. But if we do break that $18.60, I think that could be a good sign, right? That could be a good sign of the uptrend finally getting out of that 1 year consolidation all the way up to $19.50, 19.50. That is key. That is pretty much the next resistance level that we have seen all the way into 2021. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches we came down. That would be the next target level whereby some selling can actually come back again. All right, so yeah, it looks quite good for Venture, all right, but we want to break this level first, right? That 18.60, that level is key in terms of the moving averages. There are some signs of it turning up. The green line, 20 days moving average, you can see is still pointing up, so it looks quite good. But as I say, selling can still happen near 18.60. So let's see when that gives way. Alright guys, so I've pretty much covered all the 6 popular tech stocks: AEM, Frencken, UMS, IFAST, ISDN, and also Venture. So I hope you like this video, you have found some value in it in terms of the different levels, the trend, the reversal, some of the key targets that we can hit to, and I hope you will note down some of those levels as well. Right? So if you like this video guys, go ahead to hit the like button, right? Smash the subscribe button as well. That will really help out the channel. And thank you so much for doing this. So for some of these counters, as I say, for clients of mine in Philip Securities, we do share some of those ideas by WhatsApp much faster. So you're not yet a client of mine in Philip, you're trading on your own and your broker is not really doing anything, you're not getting any ideas by WhatsApp or videos or trainings and nothing, then click on the link around this video, find out how you can come on board as a client of mine in Philip Securities, submit your application, and that's where once you're on board, you can get some of those ideas and services as well and enjoy them. All right, so Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care.